All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Mayum coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akimur on the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out His truth and sincerity. And just want to do a quick video, just going into this bitterness that we've been given over to. Coming to an end. We read about the curses in Deuteronomy 28, starting from verses 15 on down. And as you read those curses, man, it's nothing but straight bitterness that would come to the Lord's people if they chose to, not serve Him. And this is all through the Spirit as, the Passover just came and went. And as brothers, were speaking as we were speaking amongst each other, one thing that kept coming up, amongst elders and brothers were that the bitterness of the herbs this year wasn't all that powerful. It wasn't it wasn't as bitter as it has been in the past. All right, and brothers, we're speaking on how that is in the spirit. Is meaning, that this bitterness is coming to an end. Okay. And this is where we're at in the context of the timeline of history. We're at the very end. All right. Where Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is getting ready to bring about a great judgment to the earth, to judge those that were laughing, those that were rejoicing. All right. And because the true people, the people who truly believe in the Lord and in His only begotten Son, we weren't in the house of mourning. Let's get that real quick. Let's get this in Ecclesiastes. All right. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Oops, slot. Bear with me. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 1. It says, "It is better to go into the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart." All right, and that's the thing, is that the men of the Lord, or the ones that the Lord has chosen from the beginning, have been in the house of mourning. There was nothing to rejoice about in this world. All right, whether it be, you having children or you having any type of, gain in this world, there was nothing ever to rejoice in it, because all of it was vanity. All right, as it talks about in this same book, Ecclesiastes. Yes, we have our children, and we wish to see the joy of our children, but we can't see that in this side. All right, in this current society, you're working all the damn time. You don't get to spend time with your children and see them grow up and teach them the way you want to teach them. And the same goes for the different things of this world. All right, all of it has an expiration date. You can never really fully enjoy the things of this that the earth gives us. And the scriptures tell us that in Micah chapter 2 verse 10 that it come up out of her, my people, for it shall surely pollute you, for this is not your rest, man. This world is not where our rest was. This current world that we're living in was created in the way that it is to be a prison unto us, for it to be bitter unto us. Okay. And this is why those that the Lord has awakened, we've purposely have put ourselves into the house of bitterness and the house of mourning, because we understood that the rejoicing would come, the feasting would come. But this isn't the time to do so. That's why those that are in the house of the feasting, that's where the end of all men is at. Okay? It says, verse 3, "Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better." And that's the thing, is that as we've noticed and as we have woken up to the reality of this world, we've been covered with great sadness. Okay, but that sadness that's been over us is better. Okay, it made our hearts, our minds better. It made us stronger. because we were able to then come to the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that there is something better to come. Okay, and with that knowledge of something better to come, we've made ourselves ready. We've made ourselves, or we've clothed ourselves, to the bidding of the marriage. Okay, it says the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. And as we look out into the world, we see that the majority of the people on this earth are in the house of mirth, man. These people are in just, enjoy life as it comes. YOLO, you only live once, so live every day like it's your last. That whole notion that people go off of is really, putting them in a foolish position. Because as the things of this world, and as the scriptures tell us that the things of this earth, of this world passes away. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. How's it go? Let me get it real quick. So like a bear. Yep. 1 Corinthians 7:31. So I thought it was in James. I was thinking of something else. 1 Corinthians 7:31, and it reads, I'll start at verse 29. It says, "But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not." Right? The type of mindset that we're in, man. We understand that, even though we're temporarily here and we temporarily own, particular things or have things that are a part of our lives, we got to carry ourselves as if these things aren't in our lives, because the time will come or could come that these things be taken from your life. And then what are you going to do then? If you solely attached yourself to these things and made a life with these things, to where your mindset completely depends on having these things in your life, then when they're taken, you're going to bug the hell out. And as we see happening, the people on this earth are bugging the hell out because these things that they've attached themselves with or to are slowly being taken away. And just imagine when things are completely snatched from them, how bugged out people are going to be. And the apostles have been saying this for years, man, that when people have nothing else to lose, they lose it. And we're nigh at that door of that happening, man. All right. So it goes on to say, verse 31, "And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away." So we know that this world is going to pass away. We know that everything that we see taking place right now is leading to the end of all things. Okay. So with that in mind, we know that there is no point of attaching ourselves and trying to make merry with the things that we have, because we know that the time can come at any moment, as the scriptures say, as a thief in the night, when all these things are now taken. Okay, but what we do know that's always going to be there is the Spirit of the Heavenly Father, and that's what we hold on to. That's the one thing that we continue to hold fast onto, because we know that that's what's going to last forever. Okay, because the Spirit of the Lord is eternal, and that's what we seek to obtain is the eternal things. Okay, so from there, let me get this in 2nd Ezra chapter 7. And let me start at I'll start at verse 28. And keep in mind, this was something that was written in the Apocrypha, or this was something that Ezra wrote. So this was during the time of the Babylonian, Persian, the end of the Babylonians going into the Persian Empire. So just keep that in mind. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 28. "For my son Yahushai shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. After these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. And the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain." And that happened. Yahushua came on the scene. and he died. And so did, through the process of time, those that believed on Yahushua, his disciples, his men that he sent forth. They eventually died. Okay? And it said that world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days. And the 7 days just represent a time period where the word of the Lord was not speaking on the earth. Okay? So it goes on to say, verse 29, after these years shall my son Yahushua Hamashiach die, and all men that have life, and the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days, like as in the former judgment, so that no man shall remain. And after 7 days the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt, and the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust. Those that dwell in silence in the secret places shall deliver those souls that are committed unto them. And the Most High shall appear upon and this is the time that we're getting ready to come into. All right. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. And that's the point, man. All right. The misery shall pass away. So this misery that we live in, with the understanding that these things, have no true value at the current, time period. We know that, it's going to all pass away, and soon we'll be, as Ezra himself said, we'll have an inheritance with the earth and with the things of the earth. But right now we don't. All right. So verse 34 says, but judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong. And this is what we're going to see left standing. All right. The judgment, the truth, and faith. Okay. And says, and the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be a force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. You see? And the wicked of this world, the ones that brought about, that the Lord used to bring about this misery and this bitterness that we currently live under, they're not gonna have no power on the earth, man. Their power is gonna be taken, so will the bitterness go out along with them. Okay, let's just close out with this in Second Ezra, verse 21. Revelations 21:2, it says, and I John saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power. And this is a part of the rejoicing that is not here yet. Okay, the Lord has made himself one with his people through the Spirit, but in its entire totality of us being in the Spirit and being in complete righteousness, that hasn't happened yet. All right, this is something that we look forward to, that we desire. Okay, but it's not here yet. So verse 4, and the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Right. So as the things of this world shall pass away, the misery and the bitterness that we currently live under is going to pass away as well. And we're going to live and rejoice every day of every single, rejoice every single day, in short. We're going to be able to rejoice and enjoy the things of this earth. But right now, every day that you wake up in bitterness. You only get a couple days to relax, and not even, because you still got to do a bunch of shit. In the kingdom of heaven, we're going to wake up every day and rejoice and be able to relax and have rest. But we currently don't have that. And this is what Yahushua, through his Spirit, is showing us is going to come. Because as the scriptures say, the truth shall set you free. The truth and the understanding of what's to come gives us a peace of mind to know, okay, yeah, we're suffering right now, but soon, and through the signs, we know that it's very soon, these things will change, and we will be able to rejoice and actually be able to live. Because right now we're not living. This isn't life that we're involved in. This is misery. This is hell. This is suffering. Okay. What the Christian church and the Catholic church teach you, that hell is some mythical place that you go to when you die, that's not what it is. Hell is a state of being. Hell is this condition that we're living out on earth right now. And soon we're going to be in our heaven, here on this earth, rejoicing and being merry. Okay? But this isn't the time nor the place for us to have a merry a spirit about us, because there's nothing to be happy about in this society. Society is all out. It is completely wicked and contrary to the Heavenly Father. So what's there to rejoice about? The only thing that there is to rejoice about is the hope that we have in Yahweh Shai, in the hope to come. That's the only thing that we have hope in, is that soon sorrow is gonna be done away with. Soon death is going to be done away with. Pain is going to be done away with. And we're going to be able to rejoice with the Lord forever, man. So, hey, Lord's will is what's edifying. I want to give all the praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach HaKodash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth. We're diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. With that, I say Shalom.